back on the Marching to Madness College basketball podcast this afternoon with our good friend Dusty May down in Boca Raton, Florida, with those Florida Atlantic Owls. I found a stat, Coach. You're 47 and 41 in 3 years at Florida Atlantic, but those 47 wins in that 3 year period are the most wins in any 3 year period in the history of the program.
Well, Ken, we have an opportunity to grow as a university and athletic department. We're in the midst of that growth cycle right now. And so I feel fortunate that we came here at the right time where they're building and we have an administration, Dr. Kelly and Brian White, who are committed to athletics and growing our programs. So we're a new university with a lot to offer. But yeah, we've had moderate level of success, but we as a staff, we've been disappointed. We feel like we've could have been even better than what we have. We faced some injuries and things like that, but we're optimistic going into year 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and year 4, you've got what I counted as a young roster. I saw 8 freshmen and 4 sophomores. Is that pretty close?
Well, Ken, with the COVID, I'm not sure what class a lot of these guys are in. But yes, I had counted, I think 9 freshmen, actually 10, including our 2 non-scholarships. And one of our non-scholarships has a great chance of cracking the rotation this year. He's not really a walk-on. He's a scholarship player at a lot of places who goes to school for free because of academics and things like that. So yeah, Ken, we have a very, very young group, but we do have veteran guards and a couple other guys that played a lot of minutes. Everett Winchester's back as a 6-year senior. And this is the first time since his freshman year that he's been completely healthy. So we're excited about the mix of the veteran leadership and the youth.
Yeah, I was just going to say, when you got a team, that is going to be that young, I guess, or young, according to COVID, how's that manifested itself since last season? The team, you're finally getting together, you're getting things normal. Have there been differences, though?
Ken, we're just so thankful that we've had an off season to prepare and spend normal amount of time with our guys. And so it's been a lot of fun, and seeing the growth in our young players and the job our staff does it's been a blast. So, we're very, very appreciative of being back in the gym every day with our guys, because it's not just the games, it's the day-to-day process. And we tell our players the same thing. If you gauge your success just on those 32 game nights, then this is going to be relatively shallow. We need to enjoy coming in and working together every day. We need to enjoy the weight room. We need to enjoy workouts, and really be process oriented and driven by that. And then when it comes game night and it comes time for conference tournament, we'll be ready to go and let the results be where they may.
Well, you got the return of Michael Forrest Jr. He's going to be your leading returning scorer. He had 12 points per game last year. Your leading 3-point shooter in both makes and percentage.
Yeah, Mike is he's our longest tenured player in the program. He's a local guy that had a lot of good options and decided to take a flyer on us as a high school senior. When we got the job, he had just played in the state finals and had a great career. And we came in late, and fortunately, his family's he's very close with his family. They wanted to see him play, so we were able to convince Mike to stay home. And he's been a building block since day one. We started him at the point as a freshman. And like most freshman point guards, he had his ups and downs, and he's been a gym rat, and he's developed into one of the best shooters in our conference. I think he's been top 4 the last 2 years in 3-point percentage, and he takes a lot of them. He makes hard shots, and Mike has as consistent of approach as anyone that I've ever coached. He's almost robotic in his preparation and approach to working and practice in the games.
Brian Greenlee, here's another double-digit scorer from a year ago and another 3-point shooter. Talk about how he fits, into the offense with Michael.
Well, Brian, BJ, he goes by BJ, but
BJ.
Yeah, BJ Greenlee, Brian Jr., he is capable of being an elite defender. And when he's completely locked in, concentration and focus-wise, he's a very tough matchup. He's got great speed and the most pleasant surprise, because he joined us late last summer. He had been in Minnesota and was going to go to San Diego and had some family issues and decided to come down here and join us. We didn't expect him to shoot the ball like he did. Him shooting in the low 40s from three as a first year college player was a pleasant surprise. He made big shots. And if he continues his growth and upward trajectory, he's going to be a special player in our league because he's got great physical tools.
Yeah, you mentioned Everett Winchester as well. He started 13 games last season. He's got a guy there with him as well. I think he'll be another rotational guy, Nicholas Boyd, at about 15 minutes per game.
Correct. Everett was a starter on Wright State's NCAA tournament team a few years ago. He's actually a 6-year senior and averaged maybe 9 and 5, had good numbers and was a very productive player. He came down here and he's really been injured all 3 years. He hasn't played a season healthy yet. It's right after his redshirt year. He got injured, had surgery, came back on minute restriction. So this is the first time he's shown his pop and his athleticism. And he's a very, very bright 6'5", 6'6" wing that could be a very good, that's an elite defender and could be a very big matchup problem at the 4, the 3, but also we put the ball in his hands as a creator in half-court situations. So he's a dangerous weapon at the 1 through 4, and we're thankful he came back because he's provided great veteran leadership for our guys, and also he's someone that we can play in a lot of different situations.
Very
and
cool.
then Nick Boyd, the other one you said is he's maybe the hardest worker I've been around in 22, 23 years, however many years I've been in coaching. The game is very important to him. He's improved in every area. And we're excited about his next 4 years because he's got a chance to do special things.
Very cool. You got a recruiting class coming in here, and that's good. You got several people I notice at those guard spots because you can go down there and pop that 3. I like that style of ball. I think it was 16.7 seconds per possession last year. Talk a little bit about that recruiting class and how they're going to accentuate, the kids that we're talking about that are coming back.
Well, the recruiting class will join the 4 freshmen from last year, Nick Boyd being one of them, and then Elijah Martin, John L. Davis, Nellie Davis, and Giancarlo Rosado all played minutes and have made significant strides in their game. And I expect all 3 of those 4, including Nick, to be rotational guys for us. They might start, they might come off the bench, but be very, very integral parts of our team. And then the recruiting class, I guess we'll begin with the biggest, Vladislav Golden from Texas Tech. Last year was his first full year at Texas Tech. He's almost 7'1". He runs well, he jumps well, he's very, very physical, and he's an extremely hardworking, diligent player that wants to be good. And the thing he's lacking is just playing 5-on-5. And just the flow and speed of the game, but he's getting there, and we're excited about his upside. He should be a matchup nightmare in our league as he continues to grow and develop. We brought in another older, bigger player, Batumba Baruti, who was a starter at East Carolina last year. He was a role player for them, played the 5 and the 4. We'll look for him to play a lot more 4 for us and stretch the defense, rebound, score on the block, just a utility guy. But we're excited about his physicality, his toughness, and what he brings to the table. And then we signed a JUCO player, Brandon Weatherspoon, whose brothers played at Mississippi State. Quindarius and Nick were his brothers. He came from Holmes. They made it to Hutch last year, the junior college championships, played for a very good junior college coach friend of mine, Buck Flanagan, and he'll contribute. And then we brought in 2 freshmen, a local kid from your neck of the woods, Trey Carroll from Charlotte High School, who's going to have he brings a lot of different tools to the table, and then Bogdan Zimanic from Belgrade, Serbia. So we have a big group. I think I pretty much named everyone except Majao Niang and Dardan Kapiti, 2 veteran bigs that will vie for significant minutes as well. So, Ken, I have no idea who we're going to play right now. I'm going to need some help with the lineups, but we're excited about our depth and experience despite having so many young guys.
I was going to ask you about the post, and you kind of answered that question. Do you find it now in the days where there's so much 4 out, 1 in that you coach the post differently than you used to?
No question, Ken. And to be honest, we lost Carlos Schillens. He went back home to play professionally. He graduated, and Carlos, I believe, if the numbers serve correctly, shot 65% on post up. So we were always at a contradiction towards how we really, really wanted to play, which was shooting a bunch of threes, keeping the floor open. and playing the point eight basketball, the disperse coin, where it's quick decision, drive, shoot, or pass it. Well, if you're going to play point eight, it's very tough to stop and allow a post player to get into position. So fortunately for us, Carlos developed a really good 3-point shot, and he became a good decision maker on the perimeter with dribble handoffs and dribble pitches. So we were able to use him a lot of different ways. And because of his success and the other European bigs we've had the last few years, we've been able to niche recruit a little bit. And that's what brought Vladislav to us, was that we do throw it to our fives on the rolls. We do throw it to our fives in the post and play off of them. And so we become attracted to skilled European bigs because of our style of play. And even though it was unintentional, we were just trying to get the best players we could. We've developed a little bit of a system around those guys as decision makers and skilled players. So all four of our young bigs now have unique talents and strengths, and we got to develop their weaknesses, but just hopefully they live in their strengths, and we can mold them together and really help this team win.
Very, very nice. Very nice. Now, I was going to ask you, is ball handling and eliminating turnovers maybe one of your biggest areas you're going to try to correct?
Ken, we've studied every single turnover on the year and really tried to break it down. And by nature, I'm a coach that doesn't want to have much control during the games. Very little control. I like for our guys to play with freedom, never look at me, other than the rare instances, and play the game of basketball. But we have played better whenever there have been times that we've taken the ear out of the ball and caught our breath and played a little more half court. So we're always balancing that. But no, Ken, most of them came down really to decision making and not putting ourselves in harm's way when there wasn't much reward, just the high risk, low reward turnovers. And we were too careless with the ball. Our guards turned it over too much. Our forwards put themselves in bad situations. And we feel like most of it was decision-making, our passing and catching, and then just putting ourselves in harm's way. So those are all areas we have to improve. But with veteran guards, I think we'll make a significant stride in protecting the ball much better.
When you have those veteran guards and a deep knowledge of the game, coming from the more veteran players, obviously I think it permeates itself to the younger guys. Now, does that mean your veteran guards probably have more of a green light if you're not, calling plays and things from the bench and you're just letting them free flow?
Yeah, our guards have I would say, more of an ultra green light, Ken.
Yeah.
They have a lot of freedom to play and let it fly,
Yeah.
and they've earned the right. The one guard that I haven't mentioned much is Elijah Martin, and he's made a significant jump in his all-around game, and he turned it over a lot last year, and it was mostly because he was trying to do too much, we felt like, and he wasn't ready for that, as most freshmen are. And he's really slowed his mind down, and he's making shots, and he could be an all-league defender. So we're really excited about him as a young player out of Mississippi that can be an elite defender and also very talented with the ball in his hands. He's going to be somebody that's going to play. He'll be at least a rotational guy at worst for us this year.
There you go. And I was going to ask you, you got interesting game coming up in the borough there. I like that borough. That's a great phrase when you're talking about owls. I think it gets lost sometimes, but Miami's coming up. And I was just curious if you talk a little bit about your non-conference schedule and maybe how you built it.
Well, Ken, we built it by playing the last 3 years majority of our games on the road. We haven't had a very deep home slate yet. Last season, we didn't play a Division I home game other than 5 conference games. So we were 7-5 in league, and only 5 games were at home. The other 7 were on the road. And as you know, it's tough to win in Conference USA on the road. Yeah. And then we didn't play one Division I home game, a few because of COVID, and a few. We knew it would be an odd year, and we could travel because Florida was a little bit, a little looser than certain states. So we said, you know what, we want to play games. We want to give our guys a college experience, and it was hard to get games at home. So we just said, you know what, we'll go play at James Madison. We'll play at North Florida. We'll play at Stetson. So now we started all those home and homes on the road, and now they all return. And then we have a classic, a 3-game classic where we get 3 more home games. So I believe we have 19 home games this year, which is the most in school history by a wide margin. We usually have about 14 or 15.
Last thing, Coach, the NIL, it's here, and I'm thinking it's like the transfer portal. It's not going anywhere, and personally, I'm glad it is. With that, because I just think these kids over the years, and I've talked about this all summer, when you start looking at the TV dollars and the money that's been made, and they get nothing monetary, out of it. I mean, there's nobody. If a kid is a great artist, a great musician, maybe he's a chemistry student, that can apply that to things, they can get paid no problem. So why shouldn't athletes?
Ken, I'm a guy that's better late than never. Really try not to ever look in the rear view unless it's to learn from it, and if I can really grow. And there's a lot of players, particularly the Zion Williamsons of the world, that deserve millions and millions of dollars. And they should get that, and that's what they're worth. And that's the one thing with NIL. When all this shakes out, people deserve to get paid what they're worth. We're in a free market, a somewhat free market economy, not a true free market.
Not a true free market.
We'll call it a market economy. And these guys deserve, if they're very good teachers at training players in the summertime, they should be able to make money working kids out. If their autograph is worth $100 to a booster, they should be able to make $100 off it. Obviously, there's going to be advantages and disadvantages, and just like there have been for the last 100 years. But very, very happy for our guys. Hopefully, they find a way to capitalize on it, and they provide some value. I know there's several athletes on our campus that have done well up to this point, and we look forward to hopefully our guys and other athletes on campus developing some following and some marketability, because it would be great for them.
Something I didn't know about: the Florida Panthers have something going on, I think, with FAU, right, where the athletes can, do something. Maybe you could shed some light on that real quick.
Well, they've actually they partnered, I believe, with every female athlete on our campus. And it's a great partnership, and it's gotten great press, and there's been. Our quarterback got a very there's a group that owns Isla Morada Beer Company. He was the first player to sign with an alcohol company, and obviously, some people don't really look upon that favorably. But he's over 21, and it was good for him and his family. So I'm excited for the opportunities for these guys. Obviously, it's going to look a lot different in 2 years and 10 years and 15 years, but they're going to figure out ways to capitalize off of their worth. The thing that makes it tough is the student visa issue with all of our international players. They're not able to make money because they're on student visas, and that's another tricky part. But that's much above my pay grade to try to figure out. That's more of a government and state legislature deal.
Yeah, and then that means it's going to be prolonged to the point where you and I both will have gray beards by the time they get that done.
But Ken, this all started with the cost of attendance. Whenever, I think our guys get several $1,000s just to spending money. And then if you're a Pell recipient, you get a night, the government is around $6,000 if you're a Pell recipient now. So it's not, I feel bad for the guys that played 10, 15, 20 years ago that didn't get, that really, really had to struggle to make ends meet. But it's continuing to get better. It's not where, obviously it's behind. You and I both know that it should have happened in some capacity a while back, but there's a lot of schools out there losing money, and I'm sure that when you have 350 some schools, it's hard to keep all of them on an even playing field, and that's the NCAA is trying to do the right thing, but sometimes they're just not an easy decision to do the right thing.
Coach Dusty May of the Florida Atlantic Owls, who are flying toward the top of that Conference USA, get one of those top 4 seeds there, Coach, where you get that double bye now in March.
That's the goal, Ken. That's our objective, to get that double bye and go over in Texas and make a run at it.
Yeah. Coach, thanks a lot. It's always good talking to you.
Likewise, Ken. I appreciate you. Really, really do.
Thank you.